WMBD News on the record.
Welcome back. We've talked about some of the issues facing student mental health, but what is Peoria Public Schools doing to fix it? We have Superintendent Dr. Sharon Desmoulin-Kherat in the studio to explain how they're fixing it. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And I think maybe first up we'll talk about, some of the more positive things that were in the report first, because I know you'd like to talk about it, because Peoria actually did relatively well from the sounds of it.
Yeah, so a couple of things, highlights that I was really proud to see. Our enrollment, for example, when compared to peer districts, we're holding our own. There's some districts that have lost enrollment by 11–12%, and we're not there. And the investment that our board is making with supports for example, counselors and psychologists and social workers and even teachers, that's positive. Graduation rate is positive. Freshman on track is positive. Teacher retention is positive. Our diversity increase is positive as well. Our growth is amazing. We're growing kids. Despite the fact that the kindergarten readiness, they're coming in at a point where we have to really accelerate. So all of those were very, very positive. Our achievement gaps, they're closing, and some of them are, non-existent. So the PPS, very focused. Our teachers, all of our staff, all of our leaders are very focused on making a difference for kids. We know it's not where we really want it to be, but we're pleased with the progress that we're making.
Well, that's good. Well, then let's just jump straight into mental health. What have you been able to see, kind of as you go through schools, that mental impact, like mental health impacting kids?
Yeah. So based on the report that was published by Advanced Illinois, for example, two things stood out: chronic absenteeism being on the rise, and then the increase in mental health. And so for PPS, we're really defying the odds, because chronic absenteeism, we've gone down significantly from like 43% to 32%. Our teachers and our principals have been very, very focused on intentional strategies to get that down. So I'm very proud of that. Practically every school in Peoria Public Schools, that chronic absenteeism percent went down. And then we know that mental health is a big part of learning in order to continue with academic recovery after pandemic and then increased acceleration. We have to focus on that emotional recovery and supports. And so we're doing a lot, because we're seeing more suicide, more anxiety, more depression as a result of trauma and poverty and all of those things. And so we've partnered with, for example, with Seth and Carl. We have in-school clinics. At the last board meeting, if you were there, Andrea Parker gave a report on the number of students served, and they're getting the immunization and making sure that they're healthy and they're cared for if they're ill, including their families. So quite a bit. Our curriculum, for example, 7 Mindset, part of our strategic plan is that SEL is embedded into every classroom. And so we have
what does SEL mean?
So social emotional learning.
Oh, okay.
And so that just kind of teaching students about conflict resolution and self-awareness and getting along and those sorts of things, just infusing that into mathematics and algebra and social studies and science and those sorts of things. So social emotional learning is a huge part. Partnership is a huge part. The district has invested in SEL aides. If kids are in crisis or they need someone to talk to, they have counselors, they have psychologists, they have social workers. We have lots of resources and a lot of human capital to assist with that. Whether you hear about bullying or anxiety or grief or trauma, those things are real and they've increased quite a bit. And so I think we're well positioned to provide support. A big piece that I really like around mental health as well is that our district has invested with a partner, and we're providing therapy and counseling for any kid who really needs it, and families either out of school or during the day, with a company called Cartwheel. And so I'm pushing more for in-school therapy. And so if kids are misbehaving in the community, for example, if somebody stole a car or stole a gun or whatever it is, I'm like, is this kid receiving counseling, and I'm pushing for more counseling so that I know it's happening. I'm not sure what happens if they sign up for it after school, but I know if we have, if it happens during the day, I know that it's happening and the kids are getting it and they need it. So we're seeing a lot more supports for Tier 1s and especially Tier 3, which is that one-on-one supports, whether it's counseling, conversations. So we have quite a bit of resources.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
We really do.
And you're taking it very seriously.
Yes, it's just a matter of ensuring that those children are connected in an intentional way to whatever support, whether it's an SEL aid or whether it's OSF or Carl or
whichever group can help them the most.
Yes.
All right, sweet. Thank you so much for breaking that down. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Well, next up, we'll have a look at your local sports. Make sure to stay tuned.